Good morning, guys. How are you? Good, good. Hey, I'm not nervous. You are. I'm Mosin with Florida Home Photo, and I was going to give you a spiel about what we do and all that, but I thought it was boring, so I figured I'd share some numbers. I was talking to Alex, my business partner, and in 2024 alone, from January to June, we photographed a little over 1,600 properties, and we've only been in business for about 2.5 years. So taking like the median home price in Central Florida, 375, 400, that's around a little over $600 million worth of real estate we've been a part of. It's up over half a billion. So we were thinking about it, and the reason for that is probably trust. Our clients trust us over and over and over again to give them the media they need to sell their listing and to also build their brand. And we want to do the same thing for you guys. So we want to offer everyone here, if you haven't used us before, $100 off your next order. And you can use the promo code TRUST on our website when you book. And if you don't remember that, you can go to our Instagram, which is just Florida Home Photo. You have a link in our bio. It has the promo code and the booking page, and we'd love to work with you. Thank you.
Good morning. How is everybody today? Good. I'm Adrian with the staging company, Yo Adrian. Wanted to talk to you a little bit about, yes, everyone in this room knows that staging sells houses 88% faster and 17% more. At the staging company, we are expanding our sales team and our support team. What that means for you is I want you to come talk to me and ask me how can we support you as a realtor and break that mold. We're trying to interrupt the game and do it even faster and for more money. So I am inviting you to come talk to me after this, or just call the staging company and ask for me, and let's have a conversation. We're here to support you. We're on the same team. Okay? Thank you.
Hey, people. I see a lot of familiar, wonderful faces. So Heather Hurry, Pillar to Post Home Inspectors, the Jeff Mackey team. Just saw you yesterday. Anyway, I just wanted to throw this out here. And I know that this may be a little basic, 101, but we do everything in-house, you guys. 7 inspectors strong, 4 admin support, same-day reporting, P2P 360 tours, measured wall and floor plans, home buyer guides. I mean, should I go on? So it's not just who you're partnering with, it's what they're doing for you. So we're like literally an extension of you. If you're calling me and that's a service that you need for us to provide and you want your clients to get the same experience that you would give them, then we're going to mirror you. So, and it all filters back to you guys, right? Because at the end of the day, well, it's either the realtor's fault or the inspector's fault, I think. Anyway, so feel free to look me up. We have a table in the back of the room. And also follow me on Instagram, Hurry for Real Estate. Yes, that's really my last name, because I teach a lot. And I think we're coming into a season of collaboration and teaching. So please follow me, and I'd be happy to give you guys some free education. All right? Have a good masterclass.
All right. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Steve Bell. I'm a partner with Harding Bell International. We are a CPA firm, so we do tax for realtors, property managers, investors, specifically foreign investors. We have Spanish speakers, Portuguese speakers, Hindi, Chinese. So we're here to help you, support you and your clients. And I do want to, it's nice to be back. I feel like I've been gone for a couple months from masterclasses, but I want to just thank all of you guys here that are partners. Thank you for your collaboration. And you guys know who you are. We refer business back and forth to each other. Thank you so much for that. That's why, one of the big reasons why I'm here, part of this, because it's also a great opportunity for everyone in this room to grow, and super thankful to be here. Thank you, guys.
Good morning. I'm Cesar Costa, the owner of House Master Home Inspections. Have you seen that situation? Oh my God, this black mold. Oh, this house is infested with termites. Oh, this roof is 20 years old. They won't be able to get insurance, right? What breaks the deal is the inspector. And getting a 60-page report is not going to help you much. So what makes the difference? After the inspection, educate the buyers. This is what is ordinary, this is what is extraordinary, what's maintenance related, how much it's going to cost, who can do the job, what to expect for your house moving forward, how you can close the deal, providing the education It's what closed the deal. I'm an educator myself. I have 5 C classes with the PBR. I'm part of FAR faculty, and I train my team to be educators, to build confidence. And that educator, that explanation after the inspection is what's going to drive the customer experience up, and it's going to help you to transform how the buyer sees the house. And also, the inspection is not enough, right? You need mold, termites, drones, infrared camera, leak detection for swimming pool, sewer camera scope. The breadth of services that we offer, no one can offer. Our inspectors carry $10,000 of equipment in their car so they can deliver what is required for every deal, so you don't miss a beat. I'm in the back. I can help you to elevate your customer experience. Again, I'm Cesar Costa, the owner of House Master Home Inspections. Nice to see you all.
All right.
Thank you, Cesar. Hey everyone, I'm Jocelyn Christensen. I'm here with Home First Lending. I have my number right on my shirt, so you can write that down, and I won't have to take up any time giving you my number. But also come and see us after. Some of the Home First Lending team is here. Excited to see a packed room, and today we're hearing all about prospecting and generating new leads. So obviously you guys are here to learn how to grow your business. Don't forget that your lending partner can also help you grow your business. One of the things that Florida homeowners are sitting on now more than ever is equity. And we have the opportunity to tap into that equity, and they're like, oh, I don't want to give up my 2% interest rate. You don't have to. We offer HELOC and HELOAN options, and this is going to get you guys those buyers that don't have the cash to buy. Well, yes, they do. They have it in their home, the equity, right? So that's just one of the many products that we have to offer. We do touch everything. We do a ton of creative financing. So we're here to help you grow your business. That's why you're here today as well. You're going to hear from the best of the best. Don't forget to also partner with the best of the best, Home First Lending. Thanks, guys.
Love it. And before you wrap us up, we're going to give a quick 1, 2, 3 clap. I'm going to read them all, and then we'll just count to 3 after and clap once. So we got to give a shout out to a few of the sponsors that are not physically here today. We've got Shea Walker with Shea Walker Photo. We've got the home team that used to be at Movement Mortgage, and now they're about to launch. They're at Federal Savings Bank, but you'll hear that next time. We've got Chance Kelly with Miracle Movers, Penguin Property Management, and I think that's everyone. Everyone else, if they didn't come, it's their fault. I also want to give a shout out to the supporting sponsors that are in the room. We got CFBI, Central Florida Building Inspectors, and Unique Title. Can we give them all 1, 2, 3 clap on 1, 2, 3? Or we'll just do that. That works too. All right, you can bring us home. Let's do this.
All right, look at all you wonderful, beautiful, lovely faces in here. Guess what? They saved the worst for last. Insurance. I'm Monica with Assured Partners Insurance, insurance brokerage out of Lake Mary, Florida. Represent over 25 different insurance companies. Honestly, my goal and the 20 agents on my team's goal is to get you guys to the closing table. We know insurance is a nightmare here in Florida. It is looking a little bit better. So if you have just one little tip, if you're a listing agent and you have a property that's 20 years or older and you have any questions about whether it's insurable or not, first tip, get a 4-point inspection. You can transfer that to the buyers. Second tip, if you have that 4-point inspection, send it my way. My team will run the quote. We can have it at your open house. That way you guys know what the price would be and how insurable that house is, so you can overcome all the challenges and get to the closing table in 21 days. I'm Monica. I'll be in the back. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a good day.
All right. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to bring out anyone here want to learn something today? Make some noise. All right, just a quick reminder, we are back next month to Enzion Theater. They have completely renovated the inside. In fact, I think it might already be done, but they weren't expecting to be done, so we were already here. So you'll see it. How many of you guys saw the lobby last month? All right, y'all that haven't seen it, it's going to be nice, I promise. Just up the street, we'll be back at Enzion Theater. We'll be there for the rest of the year. Our last session is November. So don't forget, third Thursday of every month through November. So don't show up in December. It'll be your fault. And make sure you show up there instead of here. So just throwing that out there. You'll see next month's stuff come up. I think we've got 2 months in a row of how to sell luxury real estate in Central Florida with 4 or 5 of the most elite luxury agents in the area. A few of those sponsors or speakers about to switch months. So keep your eye on that, but just come to both months and it'll be fine. You'll hear from the same people. And then I believe we'll follow that up with the women's panel that we've done every year to raise money for Breast Cancer Research Foundation. I think it may go to Team Gina this year, but long story short, it's going to somebody that helps with breast cancer research. We'll have 5 of the top women in Central Florida real estate. And then we're following up. I think it's our 4th year of doing that. We're following that up with our second that's our Go Pink session, by the way. Make sure you wear pink. And then the next month's our Go Blue Movember session, it's the men's panel. There's a whole bunch of dudes. You'll see the flyers come up, but make sure you register for those. They all have different links because MasterclassCFL.com doesn't work right now, and we're trying to fix it, but it's not that easy. So make sure that keep your eye on the links. They all have bit.lys, and that's about it. Y'all ready to learn something? Let's bring these people up. All right, so first, Corey Welch. He's been in the industry for over 10 years. He's been producing at a high level with Weimer Realty Group. He's closed over 800 transactions in that time. He runs a small team himself, a team on a team. He's got 2 buyer's agents to assist in closing. He averages 50-plus closings a year. Last year, they closed $25 million in production. He's on track to sell over $30 million. Let's give it up for Corey Welch. And you can pick whatever chair you want, Corey. All right. Harry owns and operates the Kazarian team with his wife, Melissa. He's a proud father, an 18-year-old daughter, 12-year-old son. He's licensed in 2017, went full-time in 2018. Last year, team sold $52 million. He's now taking his broker's license class, and coming up in October, let's give it up for Harry Kazarian. Erica Diaz, she got a really long bio, and it's well written, but I'm a skim it if that's cool with you. Erica's a passionate, accomplished real estate professional leading a high-producing multi-million-dollar team in Central Florida. She's a Central Florida native. She's a devoted mother of 4, both biological and adopted, and she brings a deep understanding of the local market importance of finding a family for every home. Last year, they sold over $100 million, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just make sure I'm right. $100 million last year, which is pretty amazing. And that's with 8 agents and 5 support staff members. Let's give it up for Erica Diaz. All right, Tom Nickley, I'm going to keep it really simple because his numbers speak for themselves and his culture of his team speaks for themselves. I think they won our team of the year last year at the Orpies. But Tom, last year, his team closed 750 transactions for $360 million. Can we give it up for Tom Nickley with Nickley Group? And then last but certainly not least, Mark Ramey. He 2023 sold over $23 million last year. Mark's with the Ramey Group at Keller Williams. At eXp Realty, my bad. Was at Keller Williams. It's funny how many of these guys used to be in the same offices back in the days. So it's cool to see all these people still doing their things. Mark is with the Ramey Group. He's worked for over 22 years, served over 1,200 families buying and selling real estate. His primary source are past clients in sphere of influence, expired listings, FISBOs, probate listings, currently in production and coaching agents to success. One of the best prospectors I know, and I know he's taught some of the other prospectors that were almost on this panel. So I know he's a legend when it comes to prospecting and lead conversion. Let's give it up for all these panelists. All right, by the way, if y'all have questions, I'm going to try to walk around and get them from you. But let's just start with this. Tell us a little bit about your number one prospecting or lead generation strategy. What do you do most? Like, what's your top bucket? If you have a few of them, go ahead and list it out. But we want to hear the main way that you guys focus on generating leads and prospecting, what that looks like. So I'll start on this side because Mark doesn't have a mic. So, and you'll have to pass the mics. There's only 4. Sorry about that, y'all. But I'll try to stay out of the way so it's easy to do that. But whoever wants to start, you can go ahead. Oh, the left button, if you hold it, it will turn on. If it's red, you got to hit it one more time because it means you're muted.
I think Tom goes first.
Also, just a quick note, make sure you talk directly into the mic like you're trying to eat it, because even if they can hear you, the people online won't if you hold it too far away. Just throwing that out there. I think you'll be fine, Tom.
What was the question again? You threw me off with.
Talk about your top lead generation and prospecting methods, what you do.
Oh, all right. As far as, you had mentioned lead buckets, and for us, I'll cover a couple of things here. For us, we're big on everything lead generation. I mean, I think our biggest lead generation strategy and bucket is that we are a prospecting-based team. We every day, 5 days a week, we have call block for 3 hours a day where everybody on the team is at call block. We start every call block with role play, so everybody practices and kind of gets in the mode and gets the jitters out. So the biggest strategy is just the consistency of doing it every day, right? Like, prospecting that's what it is. It's the discipline of doing it every single day, day in, day out, having certain metrics that you're shooting for, having certain goals that you're hitting every day, doing those habits every day without seeing the results, right? Because when you prospect, people want to see the results right away. They want to see it right now. They want to see, they want to see the result from the calls today. That's not what prospecting is about. So for us, the biggest strategy is just doing it consistently every day. Luckily for us, that's kind of how we built our team from day one, is on that discipline of doing it each day. As far as lead buckets and as far as different lead sources, we're really big on internet leads, everything from Google pay-per-click, Realtor.com, Zillow, and we do everything else in between that. But internet leads would be our biggest bucket.
And you're calling them every day. What hour to what hour?
Every day. So Monday and Thursday is 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday are 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. The first 30 minutes of every call block is role play. So it's 9 to 9:30 role play, 9:30 to 12 is call block.
And since you brought it up, tell me about the metrics that you referenced it. So what metrics?
Yeah, so for us, it's really clear, and we have a really clear standard across the board, and we keep it simple for every agent. It's the same thing, whether it's a brand new agent all the way up to senior agents. They're all shooting for the same numbers. So for us, it's 8 meaningful conversations a day. So every day, whatever it takes, 8 meaningful. Meaningful doesn't mean that you're setting an appointment. It doesn't mean that this person's going to buy a house from you in the future or sell a house with you in the future. It just means that the conversation was meaningful. You got deep enough into that conversation to establish a motivation or a lack of motivation. You establish a timeline. You establish some rapport with them. They open up to you. You spend a substantial enough amount of time to either fully disqualify or qualify the lead. So 8 meaningful conversations a day, 1 nurture added to the database from those prospecting habits. So for us, a nurture is somebody that you have established is going to buy or sell a home in the next 12 months. Whether it be with you or somebody else, they're going to buy or sell a home. There's a motivation, there's a timeline, there's a reason, and they're definitely going to do this. So it's 1 nurture added to the database every single day. And then 1 appointment set every single day. So, and the idea behind that is, if you think about it, if that's your focus every day, if you have 8 meaningful conversations a day, you have 40 a week. You have 100. You're having 160 every single month. You do that for 6 months, you're having 700 conversations, right? That's huge. You add 1 nurture, 1 motivated person to your database every day. That's 20 people you're adding a month. That's 120 people you're adding every 6 months. The results are certain if you focus on the habits each and every day. So that's the pretty standard across the board.
Love it. All right, Erica.
So I would say ours is pretty similar, but we broke into pods. So we're color based. I don't really know how that was born, but we have blue and yellow, and you're either blue or you're yellow, and you have to report to that pod leader, and then you have to hit a certain amount of metrics every week in order to stay in those internet leads, because those are your low-hanging fruit. And similar, the internet leads we rely on heavily, but you have to be in prospecting and fishing for yourself and feeding yourself, and you have to be using the dialer, going through the database, putting these people in warm, cold, hot, wherever they belong. And if you don't meet those metrics, then you just don't get those low-hanging fruit. So very similar. We have a point system through Follow Up Boss, which if any of you guys are using Follow Up Boss, it's very easy to track those metrics. It's very easy to see those calls. It's very easy to see those connections. And we don't count emails, because what we found was with mass emails, we were getting bounce rate or we were getting unsubscribed. And so those are not built into our metrics. It has to be connections. It has to be meaningful conversations. And a lot of those calls are recorded. So we use those as coaching opportunities to go back in, see if you like me, if you're talking about me. See if you are actually nurturing that client. See if you're making an appointment for your mom and saying that it is one of your appointments, which is not. And we can kind of just rely on that and, track the points, make sure we are prospecting daily. I think the teams meet once a week and they do call hours where they do something similar to what Tom was talking about. And then the team leader gets to kind of like motivate them instead of me constantly being the one to be like, hey, how's your points? How's how's all of that? So I think that's in a roundabout way very similar to what they do, just maybe not as organized, and that's probably why you sold 3 times more than me.
Love it.
Y'all got more call hours starting daily. Tomorrow,
Corey.
we're coming after you.
Yeah, so I think, we're all going to be very similar up here in what we do, and the key to it is really consistency. So, we're very much internet lead based at Weimer Group Realty, like the Nickley Group. And it is doing the same thing every day over and over that will bring you the results. And we have different agents across. This thing is bouncing.
Put it in your mouth.
Yeah, you got to eat it.
Or close to your mouth. Sorry.
Here, let me switch out.
Oh, it is. It is the AC. That way with your chair. Yeah. That way with your chair.
So we're gonna.
Yeah, come on now, guys.
It's freezing over there.
Yeah,
I didn't want to blind you guys, so whatever works.
All right. No, so it's doing the same thing every day, and we are very internet lead based, and it is following up consistently with having it in your calendar daily. And so for myself and many of the successful agents on our team, 10 to 1 typically is the time that you're prospecting and lead generating. So we do use a CRM, Follow Up Boss. I know a lot of people in this room do. That's the key to staying organized. If you're not organized and you don't have a plan, it's never going to be consistent. It doesn't matter which level you're at. If you're a new agent, if you're doing this a decade, you have to have a plan and you have to know what you're talking about. And the other thing is having those meaningful conversations is key. And emails don't count. That is the number one way. Thank you. That was great. Emails and text, to be honest, don't. You want to get in front of these people. You want to have conversations. You want to make sure that you're making consistent touches with them and figuring out what their goals are, whether that's 6 months, 9 months down the road. And those nurtures are what set you up for success in the months and years to come. So very similar to the other panelists, but that's what we're doing.
Left button. Hold that left one down.
Put it in your mouth.
There you go.
Hey, okay, thank
There you
you.
go.
So, I'm obviously not the technologically proficient team lead up here at all, but yeah, it's I'm gonna be very original. Unlike these guys, we prospect with internet leads. So, but yeah, consistency is definitely the key. We prospect probably a little earlier, so all the agents on our team are going to hear 10 to 1 and definitely go jump on Corey's team after this. We're in the office from 8 to 12, and the reason being is when I first joined Commissions Inc., that was referred to me by my good friend Tom. It's the CRM. They sent over some training videos. I didn't know what I was doing, so I said I should probably watch some of these. And statistically, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. is the number one opportunity for you to get in contact with a new lead. So obviously, it's not mandatory right at 8, but try not to be trickling in at 8:50. Make sure you're in the early half of the 8 to 8:30 metric. As far as something that we do on a day-to-day basis, we require 25 follow-up calls scheduled per day. Follow-up calls are people that you've been in contact with, not the new leads that are coming in. So those populate in the morning. So you'll have 25, and then you may have another 10 or 15. It's the law of numbers. So if you're only making 5 calls a day, you're relying on talking to the people that you know to buy a home. It's going to take you 10 years to build a business that you could, feasibly build in a year, 2 years. When I first got into real estate, I realized I didn't know what I was going to do. I was wandering around the cubicles when Tom already had his team popping and rocking, and kind of decided against calling the expireds and saw that there was another buyer avenue. More people want to move to Orlando than want to leave Orlando. So you have a bigger pool of buyers to prospect to than you do sellers. So kind of bucking the general idea that, sellers are better, which they're great, but, there's just not as much of an opportunity for a guy like me that was not coming into the business with a good sphere. So I was 100% reliant on building, my business through internet leads, and just woke up every morning in the house, had a home office after we moved to a different brokerage, a virtual brokerage, and just would wake up, come down in my pajamas, make a cup of coffee, and jump on the phones by myself every day. And, eventually that spawned into a team. So, yeah, consistency. Realtor.com, Zillow, Google, Facebook. Just entered. We're, kind of starting to enter a couple smaller, trying to diversify a little bit with other lead sources, going to add like one every 2 to 3 months, trying to get them up and running and figure it out instead of adding 10 at a time. And, but yeah, so it's basically the same thing as everything else, everyone else up here.
Love it. Mark, do you want to answer the same question, or I'm going to ask you a different question? Why don't you start by giving the overview at least of what you guys do, because you've been doing the same thing for a while.
Sure. So where I would say I'm very different from the panel, and I'm in awe of the panel because my numbers aren't anywhere near where they're at. They have huge teams. What I've observed for myself, because I'm very heavy weighted in the listing side of the business, and I've always been a prospector since I started in 2000. Oh gosh, this is dating me. 2002, long time ago. The lead sources that I focus on are my sphere of influence, people that I know, people that will refer me, people in my Rotary, things such as that. I would say the larger percent of my business comes from that. And then it took me a little while to realize that the riches are in the niches. And what I mean by that is I was heavy into expireds for a long, long time. And in 2008, that was really great. Expireds were happening left and right. There were thousands of them. But then along came 2016 to 2020, and expireds dried up. So really had to find something that would support the business that I wanted to do the way that I wanted to do it, which was heavily in listings. I have a buyer's agent, and she handles all of the buyers. And what I ended up doing was joining a mastermind. We focused on probate. Probate is something that is recession-proof. Regardless of what's happening in the market or what's happening in real estate, people are always going to pass. The families have a need. It's important to them that they get things resolved quickly and efficiently, and that's been my focus. So outside of that also, and I'm getting back to doing expireds again, because I don't know if you all have noticed on the lead page of MLS that, yeah, there's I think in the last 7 days there have been like 700 expireds. Withdrawns, there's been about 900 withdrawns, and canceled, there was about just under 700 cancels. And there were 10,000 price reductions in the MLS in the last 7 days. So expireds are becoming an opportunity again.
Love it. Hey, let me keep it with you for a minute, Mark. Let's talk about how you ensure you're in the right mindset when you're prospecting, and how you train both yourself or other people to prospect for success.
Okay. If we're not in the right mindset, does it even make sense to get on the phones? I may as well not get on the phones, because if I'm coming from the perspective of I need something from someone, I'm going to repel people. Does that make sense? So some of the tricks that I've used myself, and what I've discovered is to get in the right mindset, that's a total internal game. I'm responsible for that even before I pick up the phone. One of the tools that I use that I really love, and I learned it from one of my mentors, is a strategy called GEMS. Gratitude, experiences, and manifestations. So I'll start with gratitude every morning. I'll write out what I'm grateful for. It might be that I'm just in a body on planet Earth and I'm breathing, right? I'm alive today. My husband, Derek. And then I'll move on to what I intend to experience that day. My experience would be to feel centered and at peace, to be kind to myself and those around me, have grace. So that's what I intend to experience. Now I'm in the right space now to claim what I want to manifest. That manifestation could be an appointment. It could be that all my listings sell. It could be that I get to finally book the trip to Europe that I want. And that's been a powerful tool for me. And I check it every day.
Love it. Since we're on this how do you also make sure, like, how do you define a successful prospecting session? What do you measure? Tell us a little bit more about that stuff.
Okay, so for me to be successful in a prospecting session, I focus on 2 lead measures. One is it's not contacts, because we can make contactitis. I mean, we can call people and call people and call people, and if we're not getting results, we're not getting results. So the lead measures that I'll always focus on are appointments and nurtures. If maybe you've heard this, perhaps 70% of our lead conversion is going to come from lead follow-up. 70% of the appointments that we set will come from the people that we will follow up with over time. So nurtures are equally, if not more important than an appointment. Getting an appointment every day ensures that I'm going to get 2.5 listings that week. I know that sounds odd, but the numbers work out that way. So call it 3 listings in that week. And if I don't get at least 3 to 5 nurtures in that day, I won't be getting those appointments. You see, the lead follow-up is as important, if not more, than making the calls.
How do you define a nurture?
So there's 5 criteria to a nurture. The first is their motivation. We need to know their where and their why. Next is time frame. When do they want to do this? And as Tom said earlier, if they're not going to do something in the next 12 months, why put them in my lead follow-up system? If the leads that I'm working with don't meet these 5 criteria, I'm just going to get myself frustrated, and it's going to make my prospecting time that much harder. So it's going to be also, are they a prospect that's possible for me? In other words, is their mom a realtor? Do I have a chance if their mom is a realtor? There's no reason for me to do that. And then the other thing that we want to look at is, have they given me additional contact information? This lends to their cooperation. Cooperation equals motivation. If people are cooperating, and I might say to them, hey, you know what, as I speak to people here in this area, many of them are requesting information in terms of pricing and in terms of the area and the market. If you've got an email address, I can make sure you get those updates. And they give that to me. These are people that are cooperating. I will put them into my lead follow-up system. So those would be the criteria that I would use for a nurture.
All right, that's this month's session. You guys learned? No, I'm kidding. Let's go to Harry. Let's talk about. I'll just let you guys pick any of these. Hit on either mindset for prospecting, how you met like metrics for prospecting, or how to keep your sessions efficient, or any of the above.
So mindset for prospecting, I would say, is keep it simple. You know, with what we do, we're trying to do a step-by-step conversion. So I tell, this is what I kind of preach, and I have my little one-liners in the office, is you're not selling a refrigerator to someone in Best Buy. They're not going to answer the phone and say, yes, I want to put in an offer in on 123 ABC Street. Please write the offer for me. So it's conversion is in steps, right? You're going to either have a phone call and they're going to say they don't want to buy a home, or they're going to tell you that, yes, I am interested at some point in buying a home. Your goal at that point is to find out what they are looking for in a home, and you're either going to try to get them, a soft conversion is just window shopping, which is setting up a search on the MLS. They will then see your name in their email, so you're programming them as your agent. They're seeing, Harry Kazarian, or, enter your name there. Every day when a new listing hits the market in their criteria, then you can follow up with them, and, you talk to them like you know them. If they are a little more serious, try to see if they're willing to talk to a lender, or if they can, or if they want to schedule a showing. So depending on where they're at and their comfortability, your mindset on how you're going to approach it has to be a little fluid, right? You're kind of counterpunching in there. You're not going in like, hey, I know how this conversation is going to take place. You're ready to adapt and kind of read how comfortable they feel with you. Are they, ready to take an aggressive step, or am I just trying to get them to commit to letting me call them back next week? And what were the other options?
Strategies, efficiency, and how you determine when a session was successful.
So successful is talking to someone, and like Tom said, meaningful conversation. I would say that, went a step further than just talking to them, right? You got their criteria, you set them up on a search, you have a target date for when they're taking a trip down to Central Florida if they're not here. You know what, when their lease is up, if they're buying their first home, or you were able to say, hey, hey, it's okay to have a preliminary conversation with my preferred lender. Once you have your preferred lender in the game with you, then they feel like they have a team behind them. They feel comfortable, and certain clients that sign up on a website, will just connect with you and feel extremely comfortable with you off of one conversation. So go for it. And if you are able to have anything successful during that conversation other than I'm not interested, or we're just browsing for now, and you were able to kind of keep that conversation going for 15, 20 minutes, it's successful. That specific conversation was successful.
Love it. Corey.
I'm going to take the working mic. So speaking about mindset motivation, so I think for me, it's the same mindset every day, going into my calls, prospecting, and what I'm going to do. The conversations I have are sometimes different, though, because I am a little bit different. I will nurture a lead sometimes for 12 plus months, but it has to do with what that motivation is for that person in particular. So I am big on, in Follow Up Boss, always having notes detailing the conversation we had, letting that person know that we are going to follow up in a month, or I'm going to call you back in 3 months. We'll touch base. So it goes back to what Mark said, is if they're giving you participation and they're giving you engagement, that lead is gold. It could be 2 years before you close it, and I've done it. I've done life with some of these people before they actually buy a house, and so it's the key to consistency, though, is what I'm telling you. You have to be organized. You have to have a task. You have to have something in your calendar to remind you of what you're to do and who you're following up with. So I may be internet-based leads on Monday. Wednesday may actually be follow-up with nurtures. And I'm classifying these as A's, B's, and C's, getting back in front of them with the notes. I don't remember what I talked to you about 6 months ago, but I look at my notes and I remember, oh yeah, that's right, you took a trip to Mexico and you were going to come back and then think about buying your house. Those are what engages people a little bit more on the human side. So, and I've ranted.
Is there anything you look for in conversations to get more stuff in your notes? Like, do you ask specific questions or go through a certain system to build more rapport?
Absolutely. So conversion is conversation, right? So if you're just like, I saw you wanted to buy a house, and do you have a time frame? Have you been all the things that we know not to do. But if you start having a real conversation with these people and getting to know them, it makes the conversation a lot easier, and it leads you to what they want without having to ask the questions. So if I know that you're a first-time home buyer that we got off of Zillow, and they are looking at certain areas, I'm going to start talking to them about some of the things that are important to them in their lifestyle. Do you like to go to the farmers markets? Where do you work? Those conversations and those questions are going to start leading us to what they want. So it's conversation. Don't be afraid to have a 10, 15, 20-minute conversation with these folks, because that's the engagement. So if you're trying to rush yourself off the phone because you have 50 calls to make, that's not the right mindset. You should be excited to have a 30-minute conversation with a lead.
Love it. Tom, what do you teach your team to do to make sure they're in the right mindset, and what do you teach them to track and measure to feel successful with the session?
Yeah, so mindset is, there's kind of a lot to unpack there in a sense, because I think that where a lot of people get prospecting, business development, where they get it wrong is they're looking for motivation to do it, right? Like, I'm not motivated to do it, or they're looking for motivation to get up and do it. And listen, I've been in a prospecting-based business for 25 years, and I don't think I've ever woken up in the morning really motivated to go get the shit kicked out of me on the phone, ever. I never get up and go, yes, I get to go make all these calls today. So first thing you have to understand is that it is not about motivation. You cannot rely on motivation, because there's no way that even if you do get motivated, you're not going to consistently stay motivated to talk to people every single day, most of which are not ever going to do business with you. They might ghost you. You might have a good conversation, never talk to them again. And if they do buy, it's not going to be for 6, 7, 8, 9 months, right? Nobody can stay motivated to do that every day. Nobody. So I think the first thing is understanding that, and I'm a firm believer of this, and I've been saying this to our team day one, and we've been fortunate enough that through the last 10 years, I started the team in 2015. I always said is there's one way that will guarantee, no matter what's going on in the market, no matter where interest rates are, no matter how many people are buying and selling, no matter how many sales are happening or how few sales are happening, you make your market by talking to people about real estate every single day. Because right now, even though the sales are down, there's still 30,000 people that are going to buy a home in our market this year and 30,000 people that are going to sell a home in our market. And that's with the lowest sales in 30 years. That's 60,000 transactions, right? But if you're not talking to those people, right, for us, the idea behind prospecting is finding buyers and sellers where they're at, reaching out and talking to them. They're there. You just have to go find them. So, I've always said to my team that it doesn't matter. Like, it's funny because my first, 2015 to 2020, I couldn't have told you if it was a good market, a bad market. I couldn't have told you what interest rates were because we didn't pay attention to that shit, right? Like, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Like, we just came in every day and talked to people about real estate because motivated people are always going to buy and sell, regardless of the market. So, the mindset behind prospecting and business development is truly, it is the only way that will guarantee you that you will consistently do business. Guaranteed. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world, in the market, when the market crashes. You were still selling lots of real estate when the market crashed, right? Because you were calling people and you looked for the opportunity. Where other people were retiring from the business because there was no business and the market tanked, you were doing lots of business, right? So the first thing the first thing about mindset is understanding that by prospecting every day, being consistent, having goals, having metrics that you hold yourself to every day, it will guarantee that you'll be successful. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts, right? And I think understanding that is the first piece of the mindset. The second piece is just understanding that prospecting, it's a discipline. It's discipline. It's not motivation. It's not whether you feel like it. It is a discipline, right? Think about anything that you have to be disciplined at. If you want to lose weight, like, if you really, like, anybody can want to lose weight for a long time until you get really disciplined to doing the shit that you don't like to do, to committing to eating the things you don't like to eat. Then once you do that, then you'll achieve your goal, right? Working out, eating, relationships, whatever it is, like, discipline is what prospecting is about. So you can't rely on motivation. You have to rely on being disciplined to do it every single day. And I think what brings it all together, the mindset, is just a positive attitude. Like, if you maintain a positive attitude, our team is huge on culture. Like everything that we do is based on culture, right? And our number one core value is that on our team, a positive attitude is not an option. It's a requirement, right? So when people come into the office, I tell them one thing. You have one requirement every day, and that's to have a positive impact on everybody around you. That's it. That's all you have to do, is have a positive impact on the people sitting next to you, the people sitting across from you, the people you talk to on the phone, the people that you work with, the transaction coordinators, your job. And if you're doing that, and if you have that, so for us, it's having individuals in that mindset, but then for us, it's strength in numbers. That's why we're all in doing it every day. When you bring a group of people in every day that are of that mindset and they're being disciplined, right? And we kind of force the discipline on them, in a sense, having the structured call blocks, right? We're giving them the structure to have the discipline, and then you're surrounded by people that are positive, right? To me, trying to prospect and lead generate by yourself, that is really difficult. Like, really difficult. It really does, right? Like, try to motivate yourself. But when you're sitting around with a group of people and this person just got hung up on, and we have a thing, like, if you get hung up on, you have to ring the bell. You have to ring the bell. Like, we cheer for you if you get hung up on, right? And then you don't feel bad when you get hung up on, when Harry just got hung up on. You're like, oh shit, everybody's getting hung up on. We're all sucking together, right? But the positive
What do you do when they swear at you?
Right, so the positive attitude is, everybody having that attitude toward what you do every day. We don't have to come in and prospect every day. We get to come in and prospect every day. We don't have to talk to people and have to have meaningful conversations. We get to have meaningful conversations. So that mentality and that mindset, and surrounding yourself by other people that are doing it and that are experiencing the same pain points, experiencing the ups and downs, the strength in numbers really helps really helps bring it all together. So I told you there was a lot to unpack.
Love it. Eric, I'm going to ask you about how you make sure in the right mindset, but real quick, I want to share a nugget that reminded me of one of my first sales managers used to say that everyone's goal is to have more leads than time and have the willingness to call them. Because at the end of the day, you don't control your business if you have more time than leads. It means you can't just expand by making 4 times the number of calls or 3 times. When you have enough when you have more leads and you have time to call those leads, you can just double down, triple down, quadruple down on the leads and eventually grow your business. And the cool thing about it is if you have more leads and time and the willingness to make as many calls as it takes, and most people are not even willing to make even like a 1/10 of the calls that it takes. But I would bet the people on the stage know it takes a lot more than you think it takes. You could do all the math. It's going to probably take more than that. And if you're willing to do whatever it takes and you have sources or already put systems in place to have more leads than time, so you're not just calling the same 10 people over and over or 20 people over and over, then any type of salesperson is in control of the destiny regardless of the market, because they can generate as many calls as they need to control their business. So it just made me think I had to share that one. But Erica, let's talk about how you make sure your people are in the right mindset, what that looks like, and what do you have them tracking and measuring?
Okay, so one thing I don't think we have really talked about is how you figure out your metrics, right? Because you're talking about you need this amount of nurtures. And for anyone that is a newer agent, that was hard for me. How do I know how many I need to call? So CTE is a system that we use. It's cheap. It's $40. Every one of you can afford it. And it will back you into some formulas that are...
Say it again so everyone has
CTE, literally CTE. It will back you into stuff that it will blow your mind. And when you know what you're trying to do, it's a lot easier than just going out there and being like, I'm going to make 100 calls today, or I'm going to make 16 nurtures. And if you don't have a team lead that's helping you do that, get the product. It's $40 a month. You just get it. You'll thank me. So getting in the right mindset, for the females in the room, I imagine you probably get an eggplant or 2 in your text message weekly. We do. I don't know why we're so blessed. I got one yesterday. I got 14 of them yesterday in one long message. So I don't respond. I don't enjoy it, but we find, No, not that one. No, that was a little too much. But we find strengths in numbers, and we have a bingo card game, and we play bingo while we're doing this. And it's like, did you get an eggplant? Did you get this? Did you get that? It's very crass and crude. And some of the guys on the team are like, why do y'all get so many eggplants? And I'm like, I really don't know. But we find strengths in numbers, and we try to go into it with a positive mindset. But you also can't cheat yourself, because when you're just focused on the numbers, we have had agents come in and they will call, hang up, 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 because it's building their numbers. We know what you're doing. We can see it. And you're cheating yourself. You're doing this for yourself. What's your why? You need to sit down with somebody, whether it's a coach, whether it's a team lead, whether it's your broker, whether it's your mom. What's your why? And you have to hold yourself accountable at some level, because if you're just call hanging up and you don't actually want to engage in that conversation, what are you doing? We are in a relationship business. I tapped into a divorce network, and I'm not divorced, surprisingly, but you have to be able to listen to these women. You have to be able to listen to these husbands, and you have to be available. I don't want to hear about how he yelled at her, and then I don't want to hear about, do you want to sell your house? Can I sell your house? But you have to go through all of that, and you really got to do this for yourself, and you've got to be willing to have those conversations, and they may not be real estate related. I'm freezing, by the way. That's why I'm shaking up here. This is good air. So you just have to be willing to take the time and to prospect and really try not to cheat yourself. And I do think being in a brokerage or in an atmosphere that you have multiple people around you is tremendous, because this can be a real lonely business. I can point out a couple agents on my team that, you know, they don't want to pay team splits. I get it. They leave and then they're kind of lonely and they're like, you know what, the team split wasn't that bad because of everything that comes with it. And it's a culture. It's fun. It makes this fun because some of it is not fun. So getting in the right mindset is important, but having the systems to get you to that right mindset is equally as important, because if you don't know what you're trying to get to, it's very confusing, in my opinion.
Love it. Let's talk about scripts. Erica, I mean, I'm going to assume all of you guys have scripts, but let's ask, do you use a script? Do you pre-qualify people? What's that look like? Maybe if a few of you want to run through one, you don't have to all go through your script, but whoever's most excited to run through something, let's hear what you got to say and who you'd say it to. Basically, any nuggets about scripts. I'll just let each of you share whatever you think's most valuable.
So no specific script. It's not the mic. No specific script, to be honest. We have a couple different opening lines and a little bit of coaching on how to segue that. You want it to be natural and organic. You know what the goal of the conversation is, and it's more important to connect on a real level. So I see, when I got into real estate, I kind of got the vibe that there's two types of agents. There's agents that are really authentic, just brutally versions of themselves when they talk to clients, the way they present themselves to the public. And then there's agents that wear a mask while they're in front of their clients or on the phone, and the minute they get off the phone, they're a complete different person. So I definitely tend to kind of promote in our team the whole authenticity thing. Be yourself. You're a likable person. As far as, you know, the metrics and those things, we kind of like to filter out agents that don't have self-motivation. We have a great group of guys on our team, and girls, ladies on our team, that have a purpose and want to build a successful business within a business. And you kind of spot the ones that are hanging up, like Erica said, relatively quickly, and they got to go. You know, that's not going to work. I rather have a group of 6 or 7 agents that are really in it to do something real, than 75 agents that are, you know, doing one transaction a year and taking pictures of peach bellinis at 12 o'clock at Bonefish. So
do your people follow any type of framework or anything if they are free flowing on the call?
So free flowing on the calls,
they're trying to take them, or is there a framework they're following?
There's a sheet that we actually just kind of put into play of different questions, then different items that you kind of want to try to figure out as much as you can on that first conversation. And you know, you want to fill it out as best as possible. It's not required to use it though. I was able to sell, you know, 30 million by myself, and I never had a script in a year. So I just wanted to connect with people and build a real relationship with that person. And if your goal and your spirit is to help the person on the other end of the phone and not just line your pockets with a commission check, you're going to connect with the person on the other end of that phone, and you're going to do well. So for us, not any crazy strict script.
Love it. Will you swap your mic with? Oh, actually, you can go ahead, Erica, but swap yours with Mark so you can answer too.
That connection builds referral business. So it's important being authentic and not just being a robot. They don't want a robot. They would use an iBuyer if they wanted a robot.
Love it. Anything else you want to add on whether you use a script or how you train your people to pre-qualify?
I mean, they have scripts. We role play. Some of our agents are better at it than others, so they kind of take the lead on that and they role play. As we move into this buyer agency, there's been a lot of that script role playing happening, but they have the freedom to go wherever they want. And Zach Blesnick, I will say, he's one of our lender partners. He's excellent, and he's got qualifying questions. And when he comes in our bullpen and he will cold call or warm call with us, my team, he walks out and they're all like, damn, he's so good. He's so good. And so that's really motivating to my team to hear him and hear kind of what is his script for the motivation and the why and how he can get someone converted into a warm buyer pretty quickly, or a warm seller. So
Love it.
Having someone come in too is really helpful too.
Let's jump to you, Mark. We'll go back and forth.
So my natural inclination is not to be outgoing. It's just not who I am. So scripts have always been very comforting for me. I'm an introvert by nature. One day, I don't know what happened. I think it was like a hurricane or something, and I couldn't go into the office, so I didn't have my scripts. And that really, I was like, what am I going to do? I don't have my scripts. And I realized, I just sat down and I just took some breaths, and I realized that, you know, it's not about me. It's about the prospect. And 3 of the most powerful questions that I've ever asked clients is where, why, and when. Where, why, and when is about who? It's about the client. And if we can remember those 3 words, where, why, and when, and then to go one step deeper, maybe you've heard of this, the analogy of, am I water skiing or am I scuba diving with this client? There's a lot of people that I've role played with over the course of time. And what I find when I role play with agents, they always want to go to the close of, I can get you more, faster. Faster, more. I can get you more, faster, faster, more. Do people move because you can get them more? No. Do they move because you can get it done faster? No. They move because of emotion. And there's 3 questions. If you would write down anything today, I might suggest you write these 3 questions down, because it doesn't matter if you have a script or not. With these 3 questions, you have your script. You're armed with it. And they're called criteria questions. The first question is, what's important about? The second question is, how's that important? And then the third question is, ultimately, what will that do for you? And the way it works is this. I'll role play with myself. So, Mark, what's important to you about getting to Indianapolis? Well, my daughter lives there, and I want to live near my daughter. Really? How's that important to you? Well, she's going to have a baby, and she's going to be a single mom. Wow. Is this your first grandchild? Yes, it's our first grandchild. And she's going to be having it, and I don't want her caring for this baby by herself. So let's say you and I meet, and we get together, and we get your home sold, and now you're living near your daughter in Indianapolis. Ultimately, what will that do for you? Well, I'll feel at peace knowing that there's someone there to look out for my daughter as she's having my first grandchild. So now that peace is the nugget that we're after. The peace is not more, faster, faster, more, right? It's really why people move. So if you can just remember those 3 questions, and then where, why, and when, that's your script, and you're good.
Love it. Let's jump over to Corey or Tom. No script.
Well, I mean, well said. I mean, how do you follow that? But I mean, and he's one of the masters. But I am a little bit different, because we all have scripts, right? We all download them. We all read them. I believe scripts are like the bumpers when you're bowling, right? It's what defines where you're going to go and what you're going to stay within. So I am very much like Harry, where I don't read off scripts. And actually, when I started real estate, I was in the bullpen, and there were agents there, and they're just, hi, Mr. Jones, how are you? If I could sell your house today, I was like, if this is real estate, I can't do it. So I do lead with more personality, but it was those scripts that helped define what I was going to say and where I was going. So real estate it's the most emotional transaction of your life, right? There's a leading reason on why you want to buy a home or sell a home. So you have to get to that, and you have to know your objectives. So if you're not scripting, and there's nothing wrong with scripting, but if you're not scripting, you have to have something in front of you to know what you need to accomplish in that conversation and what you're going to ask, and be authentic, because they're going to appreciate the fact that you actually care about where they're going or what they're doing or what their goals are. It's not about the property. It's not about the home or what they're selling. It's the goal of life that you're there to assist them for. And, you know, we lead with a very serving culture at Weimer Group Realty, and it's the ability to serve them and to be there for them that has always led us to success. And so, you know, with the scripts, that's what I use daily is knowing what they need to accomplish and how we're going to get there. And again, it's going to go back to what we talked about with nurturing. So I love it when somebody's like, I want to buy a house in 30 days. That's great. Let's make it happen. It's usually not the case, though. It's usually where they're starting today. They're thinking about what they're going to start doing, and and that's going to lead us to the next conversation. So,
Love
that
it. Scripts. Love it. Tom, did you answer this one already?
My answer is the same as all theirs.
Love it. All right.
Yes, it's a lot of the same, and it's both. You know, we are, and my answer is a little bit different because we've got a lot of agents on our team, and a lot of our agents started with us brand new, so they didn't know what to ask, they didn't know what to say, they didn't know how to say it, they didn't know what they were trying to accomplish in those conversations. We invest really heavily on lead sources. So it's really important for us. While I 100% agree, it's always about the consumer. It's always about serving them. You know, our number one goal is when we talk to somebody, whether or not they ever buy or sell with us, whether they ever talk to us again, you want to create as much value as you can for that person on that phone, whether or not they're ever going to buy from you, right? So that's at the core of what we do. But we do still have a goal of needing to convert those leads because we are investing so heavily. And there are things that we have to know to be able to convert. We have to know timeline. We have to know motivation. We have to know if they have the ability. We have to know these things. So for us, we very heavily teach scripts at the beginning of somebody's journey with us, right? We teach the scripts that we know work across all of the lead avenues that we're going to be giving those new agents over the course of the next 2-3 months, right? We are very intentional about, putting them on Google pay-per-click first, and then a couple months later, when they're ready, we put them on Realtor.com, and then a couple months later, when they're ready, we put them on Zillow. And in all of those scenarios, you have to know the same things. You have to know motivation. You have to know the location. You have to know their timeline. It just gets more and more important as you go from one lead source to the next because it gets more and more expensive for those lead sources, right? So we at the beginning, we very much teach them. We have really comprehensive scripts training. We do group role play with our new agents. We do one-on-one. That's why we do role play every day. And we also have to teach them how to overcome objections, right? People are going to have objections. So we have to teach them those things. So for us, we have a real necessity to teach them. But it's also really important to know that you have to know what to talk about in that conversation to be able to be yourself and be authentic in that conversation, right? You have to have it internalized. You have to, your script has to become yours, so it's not a script anymore, right? You have to know your script in your core, in your gut, so when you're talking, you're not reading a script. You're just having a conversation, and that's when you can really be your authentic self. That's when I can determine the motivation, determine the timeline, determine the ability to buy, but also figure out about their family and the why and the daughter, right? Because that's a big one for us, and the way that you build rapport on a phone call, and this is where you want them to kind of freestyle and be their own, is why are they moving, right? People always are usually happy about a move, right? Unless it's divorce or something of that sort. Maybe they're still happy, but yeah, I know. Yeah, yes, true. So, but for us, they have to have that script internalized. They have to be able to determine these things, so they know who to spend their time with, so they know which leads to put in their database and to nurture that are motivated. But they also have to have that internalized so it becomes their conversation, so it's second nature, so they're not reading off of a script. So they're not robotic anymore. It's just second nature to them, and then that allows them to really truly be themselves in that conversation and make that connection and create value and do all those things. So yes, the answer is the same as everybody.
How many of you guys learned something from the panelists? Make some noise. I'm going to ask one quick question, all the panelists, because we're almost out of time. Then I'm going to bring up our title panel. By the way, make sure you mark your calendars. August 15th, we are back at Enzion Theater, and it is the first of 2 sessions in selling luxury real estate in Central Florida. I want to know just about what tools, technologies, systems, or CRMs you're using. Just a simple list of we use these things, because I'm guessing everyone out there wants to know. So I'm just going to run down the line, let you ramble off the tools, tech, systems, whatever that you use. I'll start with you, Erica.
Looking down at Alejandra. I know we use CTE. That'll help you kind of figure out what you need to do. Follow Up Boss is tremendous, and they have an AI component now, so it does just download your whole conversation. So there's really no reason you can't look back and see that their dog died 6 months ago and you want to see if they got a new one. I don't know. It's all right there. We use Open to Close. gosh, what else do we use? That's basically it. We're working on rolling out something that'll kind of just sit on top of everything and it'll communicate so that we can streamline it. Because what we're finding is that it's so much to move one transaction from start to finish because there's so many hands in it, and it's real easy for socials to miss a price reduction or something like that. So the system that we're working on building out right now will sit on top of all of them and kind of move all the components.
Love it. And just to make it easy, I don't even need you to list all of them, so you're not. Just give us 3 or 4 or 2, 3, 4 that you use and recommend. Tom, you got a couple of yours?
I will confirm what she said. CTE it's the most important tool in my whole entire business. If there was one, and it's $40 a month, like it is everything in my business, everything. So I would concur. Like when anybody asks me, what's your most important tool? That is it, because it covers every piece of your business. So that we use Commissions Inc. for a CRM. Not that it's the best. We've just been so entrenched in it in 10 years, and it really does the job at the scale that we're at. I often wish I was with Follow Up Boss, but we're just too far into Commissions Inc. We do use Mojo Dialers as a tool to allow us to to rapid dial and talk to more people and be a more efficient there. And I'll tell you one of our secret weapons, and it's really nothing. It's really simple, but it really, when you're prospecting and you're lead and you're lead generating every single day, all of our agents have digital business cards. And on those digital business cards, you open it up and it has their photo and links to our socials and links to their Zillow profile and their reviews and their Google reviews and our website. And it's really well laid out. So every time our agents have a conversation with somebody, they follow that. They end that conversation by letting them know, hey, I'm going to send you my digital business card. It's got all of the different links and all of the different information about my team. You can check out our reviews online. You can check out our website. Everything is there. And I will tell you, they do that every single time they talk to somebody. And you'd be shocked at how many people a year later, 6 months later, because people will take that and we'll tell them, save it, save my contact information. And it's just literally one click after the phone call. And when you're prospecting on a normal basis and having so many conversations on a normal basis, there is a real compound effect. And it also
I got to cut you short. Sorry, I've got literally like 30 seconds, and then we're pulling them up. Can you guys just list off whatever else hasn't been named?
I'll go super quick. Same as them. So Follow Up Boss, we're doing all that. But I'll give you one tipper is if you are in Zillow Flex or you pay for Zillow leads, the My Agent is like the secret weapon because it is going to connect you with their Zillow search for the next 30 days. So I'm going to ditto everything else, but that's a little piece.
Any other tech systems they should know?
Commissions Inc. like Tom for the CRM, and then we have a biweekly newsletter that goes out that's handled by Outbound Engine. It's very inexpensive. I think it's a couple $100s a month. They also will post I think once a week to your LinkedIn, to your Facebook, and probably 30 minutes from now, I guess it'll be CTE as well. So,
love it. Mark, anything we skipped?
So, 2 things that are powerful in my business. One is BombBomb. Especially when I'm competing with another agent, I'll send a 50-second video after I'm done calling the prospect. They're going to receive it in a text. It's got a picture of me. I'm actually holding a sign with their name on it, so it's not like a link that you're kind of afraid to open. It's actually a thumbnail with a picture of me on the video. And the other one that I've recently started, only within the last week, is Enzo Dialer. It's blowing my mind. It does 14 lines at a time.
What was it?
Enzo Dialer.
Y'all are going to 14 lines.
14 lines at a time. Literally, I'm getting a call every 30 seconds. Because it's dialing 14 lines at a time. How many of us receive the calls that say spam on our phones? We all get them, right? But this technology, what it does is it changes the caller ID, and it makes sure that it's a caller ID that doesn't show up as spam. So people, the response is amazing. So you have questions about it, see me after this.
Until everyone in this room's. That's awesome. All right, can we give it up for all these panelists here? All right, thanks, y'all. If you guys could leave your mics on the chairs, I'm going to call up our next panel. I know that Mike Lewin wasn't able to make it today, so I know he's not here, but let's just call them up. You guys, first, I don't have all bios for everybody, so first you've got Susan West. She's the leader of Fidelity National Title, Eastern Florida, runs an amazing team, and you guys already know her, industry veteran. She's going to come up and join our panel. Let's give it up for Susan West. And we got Amanda Douglas with Celebration Title Group. In the last few years, they've went from a fairly new team, 7, 8 years ago, to, 15 offices or something like that. You can correct me if I'm wrong. They got Rhonda Owen with Stewart Title. Let's give it up for each of these people. Come on. And we're going to keep this a little short and sweet, but I want to make sure that they could share a little bit of industry perspective, especially with a lot of the things going on and changes being made. So here's a number one question I wanted to make sure to ask the panelists. Number one thing I want to know is, what should agents actually be looking for in their title partner? How should they be evaluating the right title partner? What type of value should they be getting? And how do they know when they're not getting it? Like if an agent in this room is not partnered with the right people, aside from being with y'all's teams, what do you think they should actually be looking for as a sign that they're on the right track? I'll start with you, Rhonda, since you're smiling on the end. Left button.
Hi, everyone.
There we go.
Well, I think the number one thing is if you don't have a title rep, you need a title rep. The closer is so important, right? You have to have a good relationship with that closer and the processor, and they have to be answering their calls. Communication, number one thing. If you're not getting communication from your title company, then you're with the wrong title company. And your title rep, they need to be more than somebody just bringing you cookies and sticky notes and pens. They need to know the industry too. I like to pride myself on thinking that I know the industry just as well as you guys do. I want to know how I can help you get more listings. I was a loan officer for 10 years, and then I moved into sales for Stewart Title. And in 2020, I actually got my real estate license, but I don't use it. I just wanted to be full circle, so I have a full understanding of what's happening in our market and what everybody's role is. And so when I meet with you, I like to sit down and know what your plan is. You have to have a plan. And if you don't have a plan, I have a plan template that I can help you get a great plan to know exactly how many listings and all the buyers and all that kind of stuff that you need to make the money that you need to make after you pay everything you need to pay. Uncle Sam, your broker, your marketing, all that kind of stuff. We help you with farming and marketing and so many things that I know sometimes I can see an agent across the room that I've been prospecting and calling on, just like you guys have to do. We have to do the same thing. And I see an agent across the room and I start walking towards him and I see him going, oh God, here she comes again, But I'm there for a purpose. I'm there for a reason. I want to help you. And so if you're not getting the help from your marketing rep that you need, if you're not getting good customer service, good communication from your inside escrow team, then you probably should start interviewing other title companies.
Love it. Susan, what do you think they should be looking for?
Looking for the left button, and I found it. And I wanted to say, Mark, when you said 2003, you aged yourself. 1993, I started with Fidelity. So you aged me is what you really did. And what I also want to say, what they said on the stage here about scripting, I would just suggest, you're either going to love this or hate this. Scripting is kind of like scripture. You do it too much, you either turn people off or they at least stop listening. So I think being authentic to who you are is way better than memorizing any script. And on our teams, we talk about scripting. We talk about those things. And with my managers, I'll say, this is how you should handle this. And I know they'll do exactly what I said to do, but I don't know they'll know how to veer if they have to veer. So one of the things with dealing with the title company is making sure they know how to veer when it's time to veer. Everything is not black and white. I would say that there's curative work, there's RESPA, there's all those things that we need to comply with, but there's also a wiggle room. There's some gray areas where we can stay within the line and make it work. I have been doing this 31 years, so I'd also say all the things that you said, but in addition to that, make sure the people that you're dealing with at your local office have somebody to go upline to that can make decisions on the fly. And I thought Aaron was going to ask us about this, so I'm just going to say really quickly, there are a ton of things that are important with what we do, whether it's the Foreign Entities Act, whether it's the current conversations about NAR and commissions, but I will say, and I'll date myself, there was TRID, there was all the big hedge funds coming to town, they needed auction, they needed 24-hour turnaround on should we bid on this or should we not. There's always going to be something that's important that we need to focus on.
please do your very best to be experts in what you do. Let us be experts in what we do. We still need to know about what you do and understand it, but do your very best to be experts in what you do and let us add value to that and let us be an extension of who you are. And somebody said that up here about being an extension, and imagine the extension we are to you when you do your job well. And then we're the extension, and you're handing, I mean, the Olympics, right? They're happening, and I think we saw a fumble with the relay. Well, if you can't pass it well to us, then we're going to trip up a little bit getting steady again to do a good job for you and your clients. The other thing I would say, again, 31 years, every deal still matters to me. So if you're doing this business and the single deal doesn't matter to you, then maybe it's time for another business. So I'd say that too.
Amanda, what do you think they should be looking for? And also, I'll add to this, what do you think an agent should be asking when they're being approached by title companies?
Yeah, I think that's where I really wanted to start is like we really want it to be like an interview process. You should be sitting down and asking all the right questions. Like we're a real who said about culture, right, Tom? We're a big feelings about culture. Like we want to know that you want to work with us too. It's not just about getting contracts, right? We all want that, but we want to make sure the energies match. We do a full interview and we match you with the right processor, the right closer, somebody who's going to actually match your energy with your team and everything. I think that's super important. One thing that's a little bit different in title is we have a lot of clients. It's not just you, right? We have your clients as well. We have buyers, we have sellers, we have the lenders. We have to please a lot of people. So there's a lot of questions that you need to ask of, how's your communication with the buyers and sellers? What do you have that's a little bit different? We have like portals that we use. Some people don't like them, some people do. We just know that there's not like a one size fits all for everyone. And we really, really want to get all that information from you up front. We ask you your why. We ask you how we can really build a relationship with you because it is a relationship business. I started this company 8 years ago, and it was really because I was a realtor for a very short period of time. I'm 20 years in title now too, dating myself. But I went as a realtor for a little bit of time because I really wanted to see what can we do more as a title agency to really support our realtors. So, I call my amazing success partners, they're all here. They're called success partners, right? Not business development, because they truly are a part of your success. So I think sitting down with them, asking all the right questions. So on more of the boring side, more of the title side, I think there's a lot of questions you got to ask of like, how quickly do you get title commitments? What are your security measures, right? Because wire fraud is so big right now. What are your security measures? We're spending $20,000 a month just on security measures right now to protect money going in and out of the company. So I think these are all really, really important questions that you need to ask. It's not just, hey, do you have joint ventures and, do you have dividend programs or, can you help us go door knocking? It's how are you supporting our clients? How are you protecting their money? And, how quickly are we getting that clear title done? So I think it's still important to really remember that we have so many clients. There's a lot of questions to ask as part of the transaction.
Love it. How many of you all have learned something already from the three of them? Make some noise. I'm just going to ask kind of a general question because we're running low on time. What do you think is the most important thing that the industry, let me ask this in two-part question. What do you think is the most important thing as an industry that agents can either be doing to work better with their title companies, or what do you think agents should be focusing on in such a interesting time in real estate? Either or.
I've got something. Can I
Go for
answer
it.
that?
Yeah.
So my wish today would be that, and Amanda said it well, we do a lot of things for you, with you, because we do that to earn your business, right? But do you all know, this is going to be mind-blowing, that every transaction, we get it right after the contract sign. And we know every deal we do, what the realtors have done that has been good and bad and dumb and smart and motivating, and what they've done to keep their client as a referral. And I wish you all would ask us more about that. I am happy, and we're going to do a lot of conversation on the NAR topic, right? We talked a lot about the Foreign Entities Act, new contract changes. We talk about that. Oftentimes, you all come to us to interpret that for you and ask us to tell you a little bit about things that you should know, right? And we are your resource for that, and we're happy to be your resource for that. But what I would love for you to ask us is, How can you do what you do better so that when you come to us with your deal, you will get more business, and we will be the company that validates you with your seller, with your buyer, the whole entire way through the transaction. So my ask would be that you ask us more about our experience, more about what we're seeing. Ask us to be honest with you about the good, the bad, the ugly that we're getting at our desks. And I know all of us do this, like we clean deals up all the time. And we're not delighted, but we will do parts of your job for you in the transaction to get it to the closing table. I would love in that, if you really want to have this career a year, 10 years, 20 years from now, for you to be asking us, what could you do better in that transaction? You know, you're interested in what your sellers and your buyers think. Ask us what we think you could have done better in the transaction so that you can get more business, create more business, and we can make that relay race handoff a little bit better than maybe what we see sometimes.
Love it. How about Rhonda or Amanda, either of you? We're talking about what agents should focus on or what they should be doing to make the transactions.
I think that what you should focus on is the same thing that we have our sales reps focus on, and that is your prospecting. That's what's going to build your pipeline. When you come to a title company, ask them, how can you help me build my pipeline? Do you have scripts? Do you have anything? Look at your title company for anything that you need, because that's what we're there for. Make sure it's a partnership. You want a partnership with your title company. I see some agents who spread their business all around, and that's fine if that works for them. But for me, I like to have a partner in life and in business. And so I think that's what's so important, is to make sure that that partnership is there. Up front at Stewart Title, when you send us a contract, we immediately send you back all the information we need. What's interesting is, kind of like what Susan was saying, those top producers, they've already sent that with the contract. They've already sent every bit of information we need with that contract. That helps us get the title search going. That helps us get the ball rolling. That's the number one thing you can do, is give us that information up front. Answer your phones when we call, just like we want you to answer our phone calls when we call you with a question. It's important, you know, check your emails, get back to us, just like you do with your customers, because that's important to them. That's important to us too. And we can't make this a smooth closing if we don't have that partnership. And that's what we want. We want every single closing to be smooth. We also, you should ask them, do you have wire fraud insurance? We work with Certified, a company that insures every single wire that goes through our office up to $1 million. And you know how much that costs you? $0. How much does it cost your customers? $0. It's absolutely free. It's provided by Stewart Title. So there's lots of benefits like that you should ask them, what benefit do me and my customers get from working with Stewart Title? What benefits can you give me? What can you help me with? And I'm not talking about money. Anybody can form a JV. Anybody can throw money at you. That's not what it's about, guys. It's more important than that. It's just like being authentic. Be yourself. That's how I am when I go to meet with someone. I'm myself. I'm authentic. And I like to know where you're at, where you're headed, what your goals are. And I think that you should expect more from your title company than a lot of agents do.
Love it. Amanda, do you want to either answer that or talk about what they should focus on with the industry changes?
Sure. I mean, I can kind of go into both. So those were...
Shoot, I could have answered that too.
Those were great answers, but I mean, when I started Celebration Title, it was all built on the client experience. It's something that I am super passionate about, and I know that I feel like that's something that everyone in this room can focus on, right? As more and more technology rolls out, it's just helping you all lean into being in front of the client a lot more, right? Really honing in on what your client experience is. We try to have a celebration from way before the contract comes to us, right? We want to earn that business with you. We're not just sitting back and waiting for the contract. And we're having a celebration all the way to the end. So I really think if you could focus on one thing, it would be the client experience. What is your individuality? What are you doing for your clients that are a little bit different than anything else? Because I think that's the one thing that you can control, right? We can't control the market. We can't control what's happening with NAR. We can't control anything else that's happening in the industry. The only thing you can control is how you make your clients feel.
Love it. Let's give a round of applause for each of our panelists today, both on this panel and the other one. Anyone have anything to add?
I do have one follow-up thing I want to say. Let's say you have a closing with me, and I say, either which way, let's say Amanda can close it, I can't close it, or let's say I can and Amanda can't. What I always suggest is that you ask Amanda why she can or can't. You ask me why I can or can't. Get the whole answer. The yes isn't always the right answer. The no isn't always the right answer. So when you're chasing to find somebody that will close the deal, and again, that sometimes I'd be the yes and she, it doesn't matter which is which. But my point is, in my years of experience, find out why somebody's saying no and why somebody's saying yes, so that you can represent your client well, to let them, give them your advice, right, and your guidance. So yes isn't always the right answer, is my point. No isn't always the right answer. So while I like our partners to just do business with us, that's not always the reality of it. Make sure you have partners that will tell you the truth as to the why, so that you know how to go forward and recommend to your client what they do or they don't do.
Love it. Either of you have something to add?
Yeah, just real quick. Everybody that I've talked to in real estate, they're a little upset about what's going on with NAR. They're worried, they're scared. I will tell you this, is we've all dated ourselves. I've been in the business 25 years. And through it all, short sale time, when everybody, 2005 had instant equity and then it all went away. Through every change that we've had, opportunity is there. And opportunity is presenting itself again. It always has. And I think that that's how you should go into every problem, is looking at it like it's an opportunity.
Love it. Let's give one more round of applause for the panelists today. Let's give it up for Dave with Dave Stewart and his team for doing everything, all the sponsors here. But I need one quick favor, because there's another group coming right in at about 11:30 or